Wagwan motherfuckers. Welcome to the Old School Cannabis Project. This episode, I will be talking about the differences between the packs of seeds that I've released and what's still available. So, starting in, I guess, late December or maybe early January 2019. So, late December 2018, early January 2019, we started releasing packs. So the first ones I ever put out were called the S lines, S line 1, 2, and 3. And they were three different mothers pollinated by one skunk father. And it was just to give people a small taste of skunk. I didn't want to release my best ones yet for a lot of reasons, which we can go into in a moment. But I just kind of recently joined Instagram or been on Instagram, and that fat turd Matt Riot ran his mouth to me and started talking shit as he does. And he was saying, oh, he hasn't got skunk, this, that, and the other. So I had to let out some to give people a small glimpse of what I had. So I put out the S lines 1, 2, and 3. They sold out quickly. I think probably how many of those did I put out? I'm trying to remember. I think it was, I don't know, couple of hundred packs of each of those went out first to begin, I think, something like that. Definitely no more than 1,000 packs. Definitely no more than 1,000 packs of those went out. So that was the S Lines 3, the first release. They're long gone. Nobody can get those again, except you can get some of their original genetics if you hit up people like Native Farming Solutions or Travis, who was on the show, or who's been on one of the shows with us. He did a lot of breeding with the S lines, and you may be able to get some from them. And they do look pretty fire. So the S lines were, as I say, to shut people up a little and give them a glimpse of what I had. That's gone, their history. Then I released the Pheno Hunters pack, which again I didn't want to put out the skunks in, in my best form yet, because I knew that I was going to be ripped off by a load of fucking people. And at that stage, very few people compared to now had heard of me. So it didn't make any sense for me to, for example, put out a pack of roadkill where the whole pack is roadkill for some idiot with no integrity, and that could be fucking one of thousands in this so-called community, just to rip off. And suddenly, some fucking idiots found skunk out of some bullshit fucking story, which we've seen countless times. But yeah, so that's why I didn't, and even now, still haven't released a single varietal pack of, say, roadkill or just burnt rubber or just this, that, and the other. I put out mixed packs for a reason. But that being said, in the future, now in 23, I will be putting out just single varieties per pack. So the Pheno Hunters, as I say, were mixed, but they weren't just mixed skunks, they were mixed skunks, hazes, and what I call heirlooms from Old Timer One, because all the genetics all come from my work with Old Timer One genetics. I've never introduced anything outside of Old Timer One genetics into this gene pool, because that would just be a tragedy. So Pheno Hunters, people loved, still talk about them to this day. They produced hundreds and hundreds. Now, I'll say this: it's a strange, strange thing. I don't know why it happens exactly. I know certain reasons why it must happen, but don't fully understand quite to this extent why it happens. And what I'm getting at is thousands and thousands of packs sold worldwide, mostly to America, Canada, South Africa. They're the main three places, but mainly out of those three, America. Thousands of packs have gone over there. In the region of 6,000 packs, 7,000 packs of seeds, 7,000 packs of seeds. And with freebies and stuff that I've given out, I've definitely put in the ballpark of 80 to 85,000 old school seeds into America. But you only see on Instagram a small number, relatively, of people showing their growth, which is really weird to me, like for it to be so low, because we're talking, I don't know, in the last 3 years since they started going out in 2019. I could be wrong, and everybody knows I've had 30 plus accounts. It's like 35 accounts on Instagram now. It's impossible to keep a record, but I don't think I've seen 1,000 people, individuals, posting their grows on Instagram in 3 years. I think it's probably like, if I had to guess, it's probably like I've seen maybe 500 to 800 people probably posting all their stuff. So the other 5,000 people, 6,000 people fucking ain't posting. So only seeing a fraction of what I've put out and what's been grown. So where all the others are, who knows? But even to get back to the original point about the pheno hunters, even though we only see a fraction, I could definitely say we've seen hundreds of fucking incredible plants being posted and people keeping clones, etc. So basically, hundreds of killer plants being discovered from the pheno hunters packs, and just absolutely amazing people. Huge buds, huge flowers, resinous, amazing terps, incredible highs, insane growth rates, amazing vigor, strong structures that stand up to all the elements, gale force winds. They've survived snowfall. They're resistant to all fucking pests and diseases compared to modern inbred weak shit. And yeah, they've been quite a phenomenal release, the pheno hunters. Then, after the Pheno Hunters, and alongside later the Pheno Hunters, I released the Boss Pack because I was getting more and more demand for skunks only, because people were finding skunks and incredible skunks in the Pheno Hunters packs. But there were also hazes in there, and the other things I call heirlooms being those that you can't quite definitely define as being this, that, or the other from old timers' work, because he incorporated so many genetics from all around the world over time into the seeds that I was able to get and F2 and select from. So we've been able to see when I made the seeds on my earlier accounts, for those who are following that plan in 2018, when they were actually being made in those two big polytons. People remember that, and a lot of you do, because it was some fucking fire content, if I say so myself. We started germinating the seeds in very late June 28th, and I told people, you're going to see phenomenal growth, and these are the kind of tips I'm going to be seeing and smelling. And obviously people couldn't fucking smell, but they did see what I told them they would see, which was fucking insane growth rates, plants reaching 11 foot by September, even though they'd just been germinated 28th of June. It was like a living 1985 seed bank catalogue, literally brought to life. You could see everything. You could see, for those who got the experience and the eyes to see and know what they're looking at, you could see Indian plants, Mexican plants, Thai plants, Colombian plants, all sorts of African plants, hazes. If you know what the morphology of the skunk is, you can see they were clearly skunks, and it just looked fucking amazing. So that's then, as I say, go back to the boss packs. There was 5 skunks in the boss pack, 5 different females pollinated by one skunk male, one classic skunk male. And the 5 different females sort of gave an encapsulation of the spectrum of skunks, in that there was both narrow leaf, broad leaf, and in between type morphologies, expressions. There was sharp skunk spray and more savory carcass, rotten flesh type tips. So it was all the different skunks, not quite all of them, but they gave you a range of skunks, pollinated by one classic skunk male. So that was the boss pack. That's been phenomenally successful. Thousands of packs of those sold, and beautiful plants, all different ones: skunk spray, skunk carcass, rotten flesh, um, you know, burnt rubber, ammonia. There's been an interesting cocaine pheno, it's just exactly like cocaine. And there's that's predominantly been the boss pack, has been those kind of things, but there's been one sort of sweeter lime skunk being found, and there's an occasional mango skunk as well. But a lot of foul and interesting body odor, sweat, vomit, dog shit. A lot of that's been found in the Boss Pack. Then another one I released was the Terp Town tickets when I had in a second season after the first ones were made. I made a few new varieties and I just added those into the Pheno Hunters mix and called it the Terp Town tickets pack. So I kind of thought Terp Town tickets was a better name anyway, because the name Pheno Hunters implied to some that you somehow had to do a significant hunt to find anything, whereas the reality is most of those Pheno Hunters plants were fucking fire. Not a lot of
Yeah.
hunting was required. So yeah, just added in pineapple fuel skunk haze, classic skunk haze, cherry cola skunk haze, and cherry cola sour skunk haze into the Pheno Hunters mix. And that's the Tip Town tickets. And then more recently, I've put out the vintage mix, which is more akin to the old Pheno Hunters mix, but with without the four new varieties and with a slightly different mix to the original Pheno Hunters, but still essentially skunks, hazes, and heirlooms, all from all time of one origin, and all extremely fucking unique. Because I started with in those polytunnel sprouts, a couple of hundred plants, selected down to about 70, which once the males, small amount of herms, hungry feeders, things like that have been eliminated. I was left with 70, which were 60 to 70, somewhere like that. I didn't count the exact number, but all unique and interesting and totally different to what's available elsewhere. And it would have been a crime and a tragedy to throw those away and just
Yeah.
focus on the skunks. So
So
yeah,
just a question probably for the audience as well. So the Pheno Hunters pack came after the S lines,
yeah.
and the Pheno Hunters packs are 100% gone too, right? They're not the Turp Town ticket, right?
No, Pheno Hunters are different to Turp Town tickets, and the
Yeah.
closest thing to a Pheno Hunters pack now would be the vintage mix.
Okay. All right. So let's speak on, I guess, let's speak on the vintage mix then.
Well, as I say, basically, it is it's again, it's quite a bit of a funny story, but I made so many seeds that season that these were all originally produced, the first season at least. Um, that after, well, when was it? It was last September, so after a little while, I just actually fucking discovered another fucking stash because they were made abroad and sent back into the UK and to
Nice.
various places, not all to one address at the same time, and or to the same address. And so, yeah, I found at one of the locations where I'd sent seeds another big fucking batch of seeds, and they were I knew to be similar to the Pheno Hunters, basically. So, yeah, I've got a quote, well, a quote, but a post here from about the Turp Town tickets and the Pheno Hunters and the vintage mix, basically, with the kind of tips that have
Yeah.
been found and confirmed by growers. So we've got skunk spray, skunk carcass, ammonia, burnt rubber, vomit, death, rotten meat, gasoline, dog shit, baby shit, haze, burnt wood, smoke, bourbon, as in the alcohol, or bourbon, maybe you say it, cherry cola, pineapple, blueberry, coffee, chocolate, bubblegum, mint, lemon, lime, vanilla, roast chicken, pickled onion, garlic, peach daiquiri, banana penicillin, durian fruit, burnt plastic, lemon pledge, turpentine, sherbet, lychee, strawberry, orange, watermelon, mango, Play-Doh, hot tarmac, cat piss, Vicks vapor rub, and there are actually more than that as well. So the Turp Town tickets and the vintage mix, they are phenomenal because you can
Yeah.
find all those terps, and they're just, for example, you might say, "Oh, I've had lemon terp or blueberry terp or this terp. I've experienced it before." You may well have. I have too, but I can guarantee Old Timers version is fucking better. Is fruit terps are like the purest, brightest, freshest, ripest version of those fruits you can ever imagine. The skunks are the rankest, fucking nose burning, stomach churning, eye-watering, repulsive, repellent, nasty fucking skunks you can imagine. The hazes are fucking beautiful. You know, the dog shits and the vomits and all that, they're just repellent. They are the loudest fucking terps in cannabis, and nobody can fucking match them. So
All right.
that's the genetics in a nutshell.
Yeah.